with a purpose. Always start your research and publication journey with a clear purpose. What do you want to do? What is your goal? What you will do? What is the aim of your research and publication? If you are writing something, if you are publishing something, what is the aim? What is the end result that you want to see? Today, there is a huge scope for improvement in education sector because what we are doing in India is just opposite of what we should do. For example, we should encourage our students to become collaborative. We should train them in teamwork. We are making them individualistic. Every examination system is individualistic based. We hardly have group projects. We should encourage our students to explore their environment. We are not. We have fixed a national curriculum and imposing that national curriculum everywhere. A student of Kashmir is also reading about apple, and a student of my city, Bikaner, Thar Desert, a student of my villages is also reading about apples, A for apple, while that student is not going to see an apple tree in the near future because the person living in villages is not having apple. That is not the thing. We should encourage an education system where we encourage our children to go out, explore, search. So what is required? People like you should undertake research. People like you should write. People like you should publish about these issues and bring to the notice of the policymakers that this should be our education policy, this should be our education pedagogy. We have to take the call, we have to take initiative, we have to write, we have to achieve our objectives. So academic writing should also be with a purpose. The purpose should be dissemination, addition of knowledge. Add some knowledge, disseminate this knowledge, act, encourage people to act upon it, encourage people to share their knowledge. We are here to disseminate our knowledge. So how do you start? You start with by writing very simple blogs. You start by writing very simple academic writings. You start by writing conceptual articles, papers. You start by reviewing books, journals. Pick up a good book which you find to be an excellent book in your field. For example, you want to write about education pedagogy. You want to raise a voice about education pedagogy. So, what do? You pick up a book, a very good book in the field of education pedagogy, and you review it. You write a review of it. Review in writing a review is simple. Just summarize the entire book and put your comments on all important points that have been raised in that book and get it published. Review book reviews and these things are easy to start with. So you start with them. This will enable you to develop a thought process. This will enable you to write. Will enable you to start your writing journey. I wish all of you to become good writers, but how do you start it? For this, I am giving you 5 mantras. First, you start with your own LinkedIn account. You have a LinkedIn account. In LinkedIn account, you have an option. You can write article. So click an article and start writing. You may start by writing just 100 words paragraph, 200 word paragraph, small paragraph, meaningful paragraph, no problem. You start with them. As you develop your confidence, you move ahead. You develop an appetite to write, to share. You get the feedback from others. If you write something good, people start sharing your content, people start talking about it, people start writing comments on it. You feel happy, you feel motivated. The next step, you can start writing blogs, you can start writing bigger articles. A blog should be something like 500 to 800 word with one picture, graph, chart, diagram, something like whatever it is to connect to what you are writing. And then you proceed ahead. You write a slightly bigger article and you send it to popular magazines, popular newspapers. And this will further boost your confidence. Now you have written 2000 word article, and the confidence will increase. And then you can start writing some serious papers, serious articles, very serious, because there's a difference between the tone of different type of writings. You write for newspaper, you have to use very simple tone, a tone which can connect to the people, a tone which can relate to the day-to-day happenings. While if you are writing for a journal, then you have to write in a very serious tone. You have to use technical jargons. You have to connect with the previous academic writings. You have to connect with the other academic researches and findings. So your tone will change. The way you write will change. That all things you have to learn. You have to adapt to the field. So you have to start writing. You may start with your academic writing by writing to a magazine. There are plenty of magazines. There's a difference between magazine, journal, and other public type of publication journals. And also, a magazine is for example, Business Today is a magazine, or for example, Economic Challenger is a very popular magazine in the field of economics. So magazines try to publish small articles of, let's say, 2000 words or 3000 words on contemporary issues. So magazines are, they are trying to connect the audiences with the contemporary issues, which through this is how the magazines try to become popular, because they are easy to read. Anybody, even without technical background, can read magazines. Therefore, magazines are simple to read, simple to understand, and they connect with the contemporary themes. Journals are, on the other hand, are a little bit difficult to understand, because their target audiences, scholars, writers, professors, researchers, industry experts. So they are highly technical, highly specialized. They are not for popular readers. And a few publications are such which are purely for industry professionals. For example, Harvard Business Review. You can say it is for industry professionals. It is prepared in simple language, easy to understand. It is not like a journal which is highly technical and very, academic kind of publication. Harvard Business Review is very appealing, very good presentation. It uses plenty of photographs, graphs, charts to explain. You see, when you write something, along with that, if you put some photograph, charts, graphs to connect what you're writing, it becomes more easier for the reader to connect, more engrossing. The reader is liking what you're reading, what you're presenting. Therefore, magazines and popular media like newspapers, internet, blogs, all of them, they try to combine photographs, small videos, or charts or graphs along with whatever content you have written, so that whatever you have written is more appealing, more engrossing for the reader. People want something written in a more interactive language, while journals are written in a more of a technical flow. And therefore, because their audiences are limited, they generally target themselves to research scholars. Therefore, their audiences are few. So when you are writing about for a journal, again, what is that you are writing? Again, that is matter. If you are writing a book review, if you are writing a review paper, if you are writing a research paper, or if you are writing a analytical study, or if you are writing, so what are you writing? That all those things. If you are writing a research paper, what is a research paper? Research paper gives an account of a research that you have undertaken, and therefore you are sharing the entire research journey with the reader. So what is your research journey? You start with your research objectives. You mentioned your research, your literature review. You mentioned the research gaps that you identified in the literature review. You mentioned what is your first priority in your research, what is your research objective. Thereafter, you mention the hypothesis, if you have taken a hypothesis. Then you mention hypothesis testing methodology, research methodology, sampling framework. If you have done sampling, if you have collected data from samples, then what is the method of sampling that you have used, how you have undertaken sampling, justification of that, then data analysis methodologies, justification for that, then discussions, then findings, and then references. This is how the flow, the research paper's flow is like this. This is how your research paper is written. So this is the flow of the research paper. And if you are writing for, if you are writing, let's say, book review, then you start giving a summary of the book, then present discussion on key issues, then your observation, your critical review. Critical review means there might be some positive aspects which you appreciate. There might be some limitations which you observe, which you want to discuss there, so which you can mention there. So this is how you can start with book review. And if you're writing a case study, then you present a scenario, which is a case study, and then you prepare the important questions for discussions. You prepare a teaching note for the teachers who want to use this case study in future in their classrooms. If there is some case analysis available, you can also mention that case analysis and present that, a few case analysis, along with the note that in a case analysis or in a case discussion, there is no ideal solution. Everybody has a different perspective, but a few suggestions are mentioned here as case analysis. So this is how you can present your case analysis. Case publication. There are plenty of journals these days which are exclusively focusing on case studies, and therefore they are publishing on the case studies alone. There are, because when you read the title of the journal, sometimes it becomes clear. Like there are journal of case studies in management. Obviously, this journal is only publishing case studies. There are some journals which are, the title of the journal is review. So they are giving more emphasis on book reviews, review papers, and other such things, right? Then there are some journals which are having a wide focus. For example, if a journal is titled, let's say, Indian Labor Review, so it is focusing on labor issues, HR issues, workers, things like that. So it is focused, right? On the other hand, Vikalpa, this is the journal by IIM Ahmedabad. Now the name itself denotes it's a Vikalpa, means it is having a wider scope. It is focusing on all those areas which might be having decision-making scope. Vikalpa means decision alternatives. So it is having a very wider scope, right? So it could be, I mean, when you read the name of the journal, when you read the objectives of the journal, when you read its scope, when you read its important publications, you get an idea, right? That what kind of journal is it? What is its focus area? What are the areas on which this journal is publishing? And so what you do is that you identify a journal which, I must always tell you, pick a journal which doesn't ask you to pay money. If a journal can give you reward, then it's better. If you publish your paper and the journal gives you some financial reward or non-financial reward, something like that, then it's good. After all, they are appreciating your contribution. But if a journal is asking you to pay, don't ever go for that journal. Don't ever publish your paper in that journal, because such journals are not valued journals. So if a journal is asking you to pay, then don't go for it. Of course, there are plenty of good journals which will publish your paper, and Some journals might reward you also for your hard work because you have put in hard work. Obviously, journal will also help you in publication, but they have I, journals follow some steps because journals want to create a uniformity in their publication. Therefore, they give guidelines. These guidelines for the authors are given on the journal's website. Download these websites. Your paper should be exactly as per those requirements. Your article or your research paper should be exactly as per the requirements which are given there in the guidelines for authors. They will ask you that please keep your font size 12, have font Times New Roman or whatever they mention, that keep this font, keep this style, referencing should be in APA style or this style or that style. Know about them. Now if you say, look, I am from engineering field, then probably generally they would be asking like IEEE style, referencing style. Or if you're writing in social sciences field, then probably they will ask you something like APA style or some other style. So follow that style. So download a manual of referencing style. For example, you want to use IIM Ahmedabad style or APA style or IEEE style or Chicago style. Download that manual from internet. You can easily find it. Read that manual completely, carefully, and follow that. To follow that, again, you have an option. You can use an app. There are plenty of apps available to help you in that. You can use MS Word. MS Word also has the facility whereby you can use different referencing styles. So you can use apps, you can use MS Word, and then include that referencing style. For example, if you have to use APA style, so the APA style is following certain pattern. The surname of the author will come first and something like that. So all those steps are mentioned in the APA style guide sheet, that book, which you can download from internet and read it carefully and follow it. So follow the style sheet, prepare your content, review the content. Some journals will ask you, don't include any picture, chart, graph, anything inside your body text. If you have to get some graph published, put it in the annexure. That is their policy. So read it out. Some journals will say, no, 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 include all these things in the text, wherever they are. So follow it. So you have to edit your paper as per the target audience. What is your target audience? What is the journal where you want to publish it, right? I personally like, rather than contacting the journals, I prefer to publish my research papers, articles on my most preferred academic network, that is SSRN, Social Science Research Network. I publish on SSRN. If a journal wants to publish, then they can find on SSRN, they can contact me, I give them permission to publish in their journal. So this is how we can do it. I do it. SSRN channelizes the papers to different journals and forwards them and encourages them to publish if they want to publish. So I follow this pattern. This is much easier for me, right? But it is up to you. Whatever strategy you want to adopt for yourself, you can adopt it. Whatever way you want to go ahead, you can go ahead with that. But the goal is obviously one, you must disseminate knowledge with the world. The world should benefit from your knowledge. The world should benefit from your researches, and the world should be take advantage out of your research studies. So this is how you have to start your academic journey. And most important thing, again, I am repeating, remember the ultimate purpose for which you are writing. If you are writing for a clear purpose, it will help. You can keep on focused. I have seen there are some authors who are very specifically focused on a single theme. They write only on a single theme. So they write and publish on one theme. Then some addition is there, some new thing is there, some new knowledge is there. They undertake research in that, bring out another paper again on the same focus. Then again some new addition is there, new knowledge is there, new theories are there. They again undertake a research, small experimental study or something like that, find out the findings, again publish. This is how they keep on contributing to one single subject continuously. I've seen some academicians writing as many as 10,000, 12,000, 30,000 papers only on single theme. And that makes them the most important contributors to that particular field. So I also request you pick up focus, narrow down your focus, one small segment on which you want to contribute and start contributing to it. You may have different purpose. You may want to contribute to theory building. You may like to contribute to adding some knowledge. You may contribute through critical review of existing literature, or you may contribute in some other way, whatever you feel comfortable in. So somehow you have to start. This is how you can start. As an academician, you must always try to get benefit from others' writing. Read what others are writing. Read what others have contributed. Don't do anything which others have already done. Don't try to copy paste. Don't try to follow others. Be an originator. Be an original person. Be a true knowledge creator. Contribute something in which nobody is writing. And this is how you are starting a field, a new field. There is a huge scope for people like you to write and contribute towards the field of sustainable development. Huge scope indeed. Sustainable development is one of the most important issues on which we all should write. We all should contribute. There are plenty of sectors within sustainable development, and in each of these sectors, there is scope for you to write and contribute. For example, poverty removal. What should be the methodology? What is the state of the situation? What is the market report conveying? What is likely to happen in the years to come? What should be done to end poverty? Things like that. So many points are there. You pick up one point and start writing on that until and unless that issue is completely solved. So this is my lesson to you. You can start, and you should start. Bring out your pen. Use your pen to bring the change in the world. This is my suggestion to you. Now,